Hi there, Kim Rowe with For the Nest, and this was a really fun project for me. I've had this inspiration picture for a very long time, and some of you know that I've started getting into a green tone in my home, and so I was waiting for the perfect lamp to come along, and a friend of mine donated this one to me. So what I did first was I just taped over the wood top and bottom to protect it from the paint that I would be adding to this lamp. It was a beautiful lamp, but I kept thinking I wanted to do something with it. And when I saw this inspiration picture, the lamp and the picture came together. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using Ancient Gray by Farmhouse Paint. I'm not sure that I had to do this because I'm going to be using the DIY paint, but I just wanted to cover up the design, and this was an easy way to do it. Farmhouse Paint has a built-in top coat, and so I quickly just added Ancient Gray over top of the lamp itself. Once that Ancient Gray was dry, which only takes about 20 to 30 minutes, I decided to put a coat of weathered wood on the base. When I looked at the inspiration picture, there was a light gray underneath the green, so I decided to go ahead and use weathered wood. It's more of a brownish color, but the thing that worked really great with this is my canister of weathered wood had been kind of older, and so the paint thickens up. Now with DIY paint, you can reactivate this with water. You can make it more fluid with adding more water, but I was actually really excited because I wanted to add a texture to this lamp, and so using this Klingon brush, I just kind of added the weathered wood into the in different directions. I wanted it to give it a textured look, so I tried a couple different things, stippling it, patting it. I covered the whole thing with the weathered wood and then went back and worked on the texture a little bit. So once that coat was dry, I decided I wanted to add a little bit more of a lighter gray, just in most areas, because I still wanted that little bit of a lighter gray to show through some of the green. And so what I did is I mixed some of that weathered wood with beadboard here, and I just kind of created it's a little bit thicker again because of the weathered wood being a thicker paint, and that was fine. This was still a little bit damp, but that was fine. And I took this little, almost like a little spackle type of tool, and added on this new color. And it was working okay, but then as I got into it more, I thought, let me use a different type of brush. So I grabbed this large blending brush. This is made by Farmhouse Paint, and it was actually the perfect tool to create the look that I was looking for. So I blended in all of that paint that I had just added. And again, like I said, some of the weathered wood was still wet underneath, but it just blended all together as I added this new lighter color. Now I could have used another color from DIY paint, but I just didn't have any lighter grays here at my home, and so that's how I created the color, by mixing beadboard with weathered wood. Some of the other colors would have worked great with this, but I just didn't have that, so I created my own. And now you can see I'm just kind of showing you how I'm creating that texture with that thicker paint, and here it is all dry. And so now I'm ready to add in the Eden green. And I'm going to use the same brush, again, the Farmhouse brush. I didn't even clean off the gray. I had it in a Ziploc bag, and there was really not that much gray left on it, but I just decided to go for it. The gray in there was pretty much gone. And so now I'm just adding in that Eden color, which is one of the newer colors by DIY Paint, and it's an absolutely beautiful green. One other little tip is I pull the paint onto this brush, but then I dab it off onto the cardboard next to me so that there's not too much paint. This brush was the perfect tool to create the desired texture that I was looking for. If you look at the inspiration picture, you can see there's quite a bit of texture and lines in that photo, and that's what I wanted for this lamp itself. So using a fine brush would not have given me that finish, and you would not want to use this brush on a piece of furniture that you're looking for a really smooth finish on. So it's really cool how you can get different looks with different brushes. So I'm just turning the lamp, and I keep adding more and more layers and paint to this design, and you can see there's some gray that shows through, and I'm okay with that, but for the most part I covered up most of the gray, and I was okay to go in different directions, but at the end I decided to use the brush in the same direction so that the lines would kind of go around the lamp like it was in the inspiration picture. And this it's almost like a large chip brush. Couldn't think of the word, but a large chip brush, really thick, and so it gives you that really great texture. It's also great for adding glazes and things like that as well. So once I was finished painting, I wanted to let it dry for about 24 hours. You can see here there's some blotchiness. This is only after a few hours. You can see where it's not fully dry, and you don't want to put your top coat on until it is fully dry. So here's the next day, and you can see how it is much more even and it's ready for the either top coat, and I decided to use the DIY clear wax. And so I just am using a wax brush to add that wax on, and you can see the difference of the color, how it really brings out the true color of the paint. So when you pick a DIY paint color, I always say look at the jar, and you can see how that color is going to look once you add your top coat. You can see here it's very similar to the color in the jar. Once you paint it and let it dry, it becomes very chalky and dry and a much lighter color. So some people are afraid when they see that, but don't worry, once you add your top coat, your varnish, or the wax, it changes the full look. So here it is, and I was thrilled at how it turned out. I feel like it was pretty close to my inspiration. Not quite the same, but I really love the way it turned out. Have a great day and happy creating. You can find all these products at forthenestwithkimrowe.com.